Hey internets, it's Jake, and this is Mini Terrain Domain. Things are, you probably noticed, just a little bit different if you're regular to Mini Terrain Domain. If you're new here, you probably don't notice anything's amiss. But normally, I am over here in this spot. But this campaign is actually going to be dungeon mastered by the Master Lord himself, Mr. Mike the Piper. I'm going to throw it over to him in just a moment, because this is 100% his show. I'm just producing the stream. Up in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to draw attention to this now for all the new people. Something that's relatively new on Mini Terrain Domain. Yep, up above V's head. We have a thing called domain dice. Now, there is absolutely no obligation whatsoever, but if you feel so compelled over on Twitch or on YouTube, you can donate in increments of, well, you can donate whatever amount you want, but for every 500 bits or $5, the players will get domain dice that look something like this. Each one of those dice can be used to re-roll a die or to force the DM to re-roll one of his rolls. Yeah, and that's just a thing you can contribute to throughout the stream. So I wanted to be sure that we point that out. I can tell that I'm going to have to tweak the instructions a little bit because they're really tiny and hard to read now with the new interface. But we'll make sure that there's a thing over on Twitch and in the information bar as well. I want to say just a quick thank you to everybody who's tuning in. This is the premiere episode, the beginning of this new campaign, epic level. Mike's going to talk about that in a minute. But we want to make sure that you don't miss a thing. So to ensure that, if you're on Twitch, look up at the top in the corner over here. It might be down low if you're on mobile. But there's a little heart icon you can check that will make it so you follow and get notifications for whenever we go live. Or if you're feeling compelled, you could subscribe to the channel as well. And same thing on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and hit that little chime icon to get notified whenever we go live every Monday night at 8:30 Eastern. I've talked long enough. This isn't my campaign. This isn't my show. This is Mr. Mike the Piper's. So, Mike, I'm going to hand it over to you. It's all you, man.
No pressure. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this first session of All That Glitters, a name that I totally didn't write on a bar napkin one night. I'm Mike. If you have ever watched the absolutely wonderful Matt Click on the channel of Fistful of Dice, I'm in the Provokers campaign, and I play Edric Meadows, who may or may not appear in this campaign. It's a rousing good time. I also have my own channel. I do some stuff. It's not that important. But anyway, so this is an epic campaign, and what it is we are going to be taking these four absolutely astonishingly talented individuals, and we are going to give them a character that they're going to bring from level 1 all the way up to level 20. We are going to start in the City of Splendors, the beautiful city of Waterdeep, as we begin the campaign Waterdeep Dragon Heist. And of course, once...
The first 15 bits. Just
okay.
You can feel free to completely ignore those, Mike.
Sure. My volume is set to fairly loud, so I'm not going to lie. Those were like chimes of the apocalypse.
Sorry.
Cool with that, though. Chime away to herald my impending doom. Once we finish with Waterdeep Dragon Heist, we are going to take it from level 5, these four characters, and we're going to go through Dungeons of the Mad Mage. This is, of course, with the small caveat that they actually survive the Waterdeep Dragon Heist. Whatever. I brought my lucky dice, so let's see how well that goes for them. All right. That being said, let us dive in. And before I do, and this is just for all of you, Do you wish to do intros onto yourselves before we jump in here? You guys want to plug stuff, or do you want to plug stuff during the break?
Um,
Are we?
I think I mean, since you're opening it up to us, usually on this channel, I have everybody intro at the beginning, real quick.
Gotcha.
And we dropped promos here, so I'd like to give V and Megan a chance to promo. In the future, we'll have those ads, but this is that premiere episode presented ad free.
Then
I also have the chat saying do it now, so
do it now.
do it now.
Do it now. Then allow me to shut the hell up and let these fine people tell you all about how absolutely phenomenal they are. And we'll start with V. Why not?
With me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So I am V. I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse, and there you can find different ways to make tabletop terrain for your games. And I know it's rather ironic that I am playing online, but hey, that's the way life is sometimes. I'm also doing a fundraiser at the moment where if you are on Twitter, where I also am very active, you may have heard of the Terror Muffins. And what we're doing for the month of October in honor of domestic violence awareness is we are selling t-shirts and various other bits of merchandise with the Terror Muffins logo on it. I'll make sure I get a link in both of the chats while everyone else is kind of introducing themselves. So if you're interested in helping out this cause, all proceeds are going to be donated to a local women's shelter in my group, in my area, to help out women who are trying to get out of situations, who are moving on with their lives and everything like that. So that's a me.
Who do you want next, Mike?
Go. Let's alley-oop this right down that away to Megan.
Hey everyone, I'm Megan. I am one half of the YouTube channel Dice on Ice, and one half of the publishing company also called Dice on Ice. We're very creative. We do live plays, and tomorrow there will be a new video up there that is going to be different than any of the live plays. So it's very exciting. What else? Oh, there is a book that we wrote called The Ravaged Wasteland of Cryfoth, and it's a post-apocalyptic, dark sun-esque setting supplement, and it's available on DriveThruRPG. So if you want to check it out, that would be great. I'm very excited to play, so yay.
That was the best ever. That was just the best ever. Let's alley-oop it down to the man with the beautiful beard. No, Jake, not you. Dwight, plug something awesome, you handsome fella.
I wish I could, but I am just a guy that knows Jake. So I don't have anything to plug right now. Right now being the key. So
All right.
someday
Well,
soon,
good.
we'll work on that. But yeah, I just I live not far from Jake, and he got me into D&D a few years ago, and I keep finding him and twisting his arm and making him invite me to these things because I love it, and it's a good time, and I'm really excited to get on with this campaign and see what happens. So not selling anything except for my beautiful face. So
I'd buy that for $1.
more than I usually get.
And I guess that leaves me. I'm Jake. This is my channel, Mini Terrain Domain. I'm at MTD on at MTD_Jake on Twitter. And if I'm not running games, I'm making miniature terrain, crafting terrain like V. We're part of the Tabletop Crafters Guild. And also we're all part of the Absolute Tabletop official group on Facebook, where a lot of games are organized, including many one-shots that I run on this channel. I am incredibly excited. This is actually the first 5th edition book that I have not bought immediately when it came out, because I know I'm going to struggle to not look in the book at all the beautiful stuff. But I'm very excited to see what Mike is going to do in this epic campaign And with this amazing setting, I have longed for Waterdeep for years, for something official. So I'm very excited about it. So I don't want to hold it up anymore. Let's get playing D&D, man.
Yes, let's. And as is any campaign, I would be remiss if there wasn't some kind of an intro. And so let us begin. All the glitters, Waterdeep Dragon Heist. The noble sat across from his table and stared at this individual, this man, and judged him, as nobles are ought to do. He looked down at his shoes, one buckled shoe, one mismatched boot, a pair of patchwork pantaloons, a belt that seems to be 2 sizes too big, a threadbare doublet, and a cloak that would be probably better off blanketing horses in some stable. And of course, to top it off, an extremely large and ridiculous looking hat. He sits in a very fine chair, almost a throne. And staring across from this table, he looks at the man and says, You are the one who the Bard's College sent for. You are the one who are supposed to entertain my friends this evening at dinner, dressed like that. The Bard simply grabs his hat and in a wide sweeping arc bows and says, Yes, of course, my lord. You had asked, if memory serves me correctly, for one bard who had almost first-hand knowledge of the incident in the noble city of splendors, and I can assure you that I have first-hand knowledge of this story the simple folk are calling Waterdeep the Dragon Heist. But you'll have to forgive me. I find that title so blasé. The noble kind of sits there and kind of raises an eyebrow and says, Oh, yes, I would prefer to call it the factual but fantastical fable of 4 friends who finagle foes, fiends, and factions, all to find a forbidden fortune filched by a felonious forerunner. The noble stares, unblinking, and for a moment, the tension is almost palpable. The bard stops and, well, it's a title pending, of course. But I assure you, and you'll forgive me, my lord, but may I sit and join you over some wine? It would be wonderful to discuss this with you. He waves his hand, and a servant automatically rushes towards, sets down a carafe of wine and 2 glasses. He grabs the wine glass, or he grabs the wine carafe, and 1 wine glass. Anna, could you do me a favor? And can you please roll me a sleight of hand check? Just tell me what you get.
All of us?
Nope, just Anna. Just like her to roll a sleight of hand check.
22.
Okay. So as he grabs the wine and he pours it, and he hands one to him, and he grabs and he pours himself one. And he sits and he says, Well, my lord, allow me. As many in this grand and beautiful place we call the Sword Coast would say, from high, from low, from your station below, as is many a good tale, it all begins with, Hello? Hey, are you 4 just going to sit around the table staring at the wood, or are you going to order something to drink? You know, here at the Awning Portal, we really, really do like it when customers actually order a beverage. You, 6, a young lady, young woman holding a tray, looks at you, and when she does look at you and expecting an order, who is she looking at?
6 is he looks to be a kind of stocky, sort of, well, he's feline. He has clearly feline features. Very, and 6 hates this word. Fluffy fur all along his face, billowing out in grays with a little bit of white, and back along his ears. And his ears, which come up off the top of his head, are incredibly also fluffy. He does wear a bit of a hat that he tries to cover it with, cover that some of the floofy ears. You would see a bit of a equally puffy tail kind of just lazily moving in the air behind him. He wears simple leather armor, and he looks back at this woman with yellowish green feline eyes, as 6 days into summer he's a tabaxi. And he says to her, first he looks to the table. The first one who says anything about a bowl of milk is going to get swatted with my tail. I will have a pint of very dark ale. Please.
All right, one dark ale. Oh, and how about you, love? And Kiara, you see the young woman's gaze kind of turn to you. Who is she looking at?
She's looking at a very petite woman who is almost overtaken by a very thick, deep red cloak. And at first, her dark red mahogany hair is covering her entire face. But as she looks up, she has this rather stunning look literally to her eyes, because what you see are these eyes that are very deep amber in color, but no pupils to them. But she still has a very kind and happy smile. And in her quiet voice, she requests, I'll have some mulled wine if that's a possibility.
Oh, I'm sure that's no problem at all. And how about you there, tall, dark, and handsome? What can I get for you? And she looks right at you, Baron. Baron, who is this woman looking at?
So Bevyn is a kind of just sitting slunched over in the corner of the table. He's wearing leather with a cape and a hood. Doesn't really want. Looks like he's not really trying to be part of the conversation at the table, but he just looks up and says, "I'll have the largest of your darkest ale, please, and a rasher of bread too." And he just puts his head back down.
All right, beer and bread. Around here, those things are fairly interchangeable, but I think we can do that. And finally, you, young lady, what can I get for you? And Anna, who is this woman looking at?
Anna is quite small, light. You might think that she is a child, but when you look into her eyes, you see there is wisdom there, experience. It is just her face that is young, and not her mind, and not the rest of her. And she sits with her feet up, almost crouch-like on the chair, her hands resting on her knees. And she's looking at this metal piece very closely. It's hard to see quite what it is. Maybe it's a pendant, some sort of jewelry, but she's looking at it quite intently. Her green eyes kind of flash up quickly and then back down. I'll have whatever he is having. Gesturing to Bevyn.
All right, so that's 3 dark ales and a malt wine. Okay, my name is Bonnie, and I'll be just around if you need me. So excuse me. And she kind of totters off. From your vantage point, you can see all around the bar. The yawning portal, true to its name, brings about so many different people. You can see the center of the tavern itself, this huge, just open pit, and every so often you see someone like kind of finish off their ale or whatever drink, and then toss the like some of them toss the glass down, and you hear like in the back, a few people, don't be tossing glasses down there, you, and a few people are dicing. As a matter of fact, strangely enough, you as you guys are sitting around, you actually hear a couple of people who are playing dice just behind you, and then you hear one of them shout up, "How the hell can you be winning this much? This much? That's not even fair. You're cheating." And the other guy's like, "No, I'm not cheating. I don't know what I'm just rolling." And off in the distance, you see Bevyn, especially you notice, you hear a cheer go up as you see this large, strong half-orc woman supplant another arm almost through the table. Yasha, a friend of yours, cheering again, kind of raising both arms up and kind of like giving a kind of a friendly slap across the face to the opponent who just defeated him. And she smiles when she kind of makes eye contact with you briefly, just a little bit, in the way that most half-orcs in their stoicism do. She sits back down and kind of looks around for another challenger, kind of randomly pointing to people. You see Durnan, Kiara. He's tending bar and kind of looking over, and as he looks at you, you kind of notice that his eyes, when they fall upon you, they seem, there's recognition there. And in the way that Durnan is, he just nods his head ever so slightly and goes back to cleaning another glass or pouring a few pints. And then 6, you see 3 strings, a young male bard. As Bonnie walks by, he kind of follows her with her eyes a bit until they kind of lock eyes and they kind of smile at each other, and he goes to kind of tuning a lute. 3 strings looks at you and kind of just gives this really awkward sort of open palm wave, and he goes back to strumming. What are the 4 of you discussing right now?
So Bevyn and Anna have worked together in the past, and through happenstance we have come across the other 2, and we've asked them to come here to discuss some of the rumblings of what's been going on in Waterdeep recently. So Bevyn's just going to kind of look around as he realizes that the servers walked away. It doesn't look to be that anybody's paying too close of attention. He just kind of leans forward and he says, "Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate you answering the call. I know Anna here speaks very highly of all of you, both of you. So I'm glad we could come. Not a big fan of meeting in a place like this. It's too much going on. But if you feel safer here, then I'm okay with it. Let's just get to the business and I can get out of here."
That works for me. Probably won't draw too much attention to ourselves being in a place like this.
I quite like it. There's so many things to see, and she says, and she starts looking around, and so much better than all those dreary alleyways.
I rather like an alley.
I have to say, in my younger days, I was quite fond of alleyways. When I was, as they say, on the prowl. But yes, I like this place. It has a nice flourish to it. I could actually find myself setting up here for quite some time and probably make some pretty good coin. Unless there's better coin to be found somewhere else. Excuse me a moment. And I step up from the seat just for a moment. I imagine we're probably not that far from the actual yawning portal in the middle. And I'm going to walk over to the edge. There's a glass that somebody has left sitting on the railing. And it's been... I keep looking at it, and I just look around, and I'm just going to do the a-hole cat thing and just kind of, boop, knock it into the hole. And then come back to the table. Sorry. That was bothering me. It just was left there, and nobody was picking it up. No, it's not a problem.
I had wondered. I had wondered when that was going to happen. I was waiting. I was waiting. You know, no matter how many times you try to tell someone no, it's going to happen.
Anyway, you were saying.
As you're about to go back to your seat, all four of you hear a shout come from across the bar. And it kind of cuts through, even through the loud, rapacious dancing and drinking and music playing. You hear, "Orcish pig, not cutting me mates down for money, do you? You're taking your last blood coin." And you see, just before everyone else gets up to kind of like, you know, fight. You see a flash of a bald man who has tattoos of eyes, like starting at the top of his head, going all the way back to down to the back of his neck. And suddenly, Bevyn, just before everyone stands up, you see him take a right cross to Yasha's jaw. What would you all like to do?
Excuse me. And I push my chair back, and I just walk over. And Yash is kind of collecting herself, and I put my hand just in front of her, and I step between her and this guy. How big is the guy that punched her?
He's. I mean, as soon as the hit goes, it's on. Like it's
okay.
Like everyone stands up, and it's tough to see. You got to like kind of push through the crowd, and kind of get in there to it. But I mean, you hear tables breaking, chairs thwomping, you know, like just they're going at it. It's like I'm going to use a Canadian euphemism, but like jerseys are off and it's go time. It's going to be a fight. So you hear everyone just, oh yeah, and as they keep fighting, you also see a few others that kind of seem like in the same kind of vein as this guy with the tattoos, kind of moving around to one side, kind of like in beside him. Did you want to come in? Do you want to just watch it? What do you guys like to do?
I'm going to grab the wood post that goes up from the railing to the ceiling, one of the support posts, and just kind of grab hold of it and step up so I'm standing on the railing so I can get a better view of what's going on. One hand is just kind of loosely on the hilt of my rapier as I'm watching, and also watching the other three that I was with.
I think that Anna would be shadowing Bevyn. Wherever he goes, she tends to follow, despite, I'm sure, him telling her not to many times, because she doesn't look very imposing when he's trying to do something. But she tries her best, and she is going to kind of shadow him as he walks up.
Aria's going to pull her cloak up a little bit and put the hood up on her head. And as she's doing so, she's also going to just quickly slip one of her daggers into her hands just to be ready in case anyone gets too close.
All right. So as you make your way, you see like the fight just starts going on. It gets like one point, Yasha grabs the back of this guy's head and just slams it into a table, pulls it back like with her own strength, headbutts him, and then finally comes across with an elbow, and finally like his nose just shatters, and you just see like blood just shoots right out of both nostrils like a fountain, and he kind of hits the ground when the four that you saw kind of rush, like kind of coming around. Suddenly, all four tackle Yasha and begin just like pounding on her, like kicking, punching, everything else. Six, give me a perception check.
Absolutely. Let's see. Perception. That's going to be a +3 with a 13 on the die. So that is a 16 perception.
Nice. You begin to hear something. It's like a scratching. It's like a scratching, and I mean you have claws. You've heard this sort of thing before, but it's like that one time that you tried to leap a low wall and your claws caught on stone and just scratched on stone as it was going, and it was kind of a weird, uncomfortable kind of a sound, but you hear it, this scratch, and even though the fight and all with even through all of the yelling and that, you begin to hear it, but for some reason it seems to be coming from behind and down.
Immediate.
And also followed with that, you almost also begin to hear a little bit of like, it sounds like buzzing, like a low drone.
Immediately hearing the sound, my head begins to cock to the side, listening. My ears are kind of twitching. As I'm scanning very quickly the bar, all I see is wood everywhere. I should not be hearing nails on stone, and then I realize where it is coming from. And I turn, and I look down into the yawning portal. What do I see?
Make me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Oh, no. I get a +5, so that's a 12.
Okay. You manage to just move out of the way. You see this huge clawed hand come out of the yawning portal, and grab a hold of the stone just by your feet. You manage to jump off as another hand comes up, and this huge, hulking, long-nosed, green-skinned looking thing, sickly in its own appearance, kind of scrambles up. And even though people are watching the fight, a few folk that have been looking around, suddenly someone screams out, "Troll!" And I need everyone to roll initiative.
Despite myself, as I dodge out of the way, you would hear, no, that's not the sound. I don't know what that first sound was. Ignore that. That didn't happen. It's ironic that I'm playing a tabaxi and I'm the only one that doesn't own a cat on the stream.
Retcon.
Nat 20 on an initiative roll.
Nice. What's that in total?
23.
Okay. Now, unfortunately, I can't, for some weird reason. I'm getting a weird thing on Zoom, and I can't see chat. So if you guys can just tell me your initiative rolls, that would be swell.
12.
11.
Oh, 11.
Stop it. We carried it
11.
through. Yeah, we both got 11.
Okay. All right. So as soon as this troll kind of like leans up and like kind of steps over through the yawning portal, you now begin to pick up 6, the droning sound, as you see 9 large sturges, these huge, massive, bat-like, mosquito-like things, like 6 of them seem to be just bloated, like hanging down with what looks to be in their stomachs to be troll's blood. As when their stomachs expand, it's kind of translucent, so you can see the creature's blood kind of sloshing around it. Full of a meal of troll's blood, 6 of them begin to kind of descend down, but 3 of them are still hanging around, hungry, as the troll kind of weakly like swats at them. In that moment, Kiara, you see Durnan almost like you've never seen him before. This mild mannered bartender suddenly grabbing off what you couldn't see before was grabs this great sword and hand plant leaps straight off the bar. You see him grabbing just the handle and flinging the sheath at one of the sturges, which is just trying to like fly over, hits one of the sturges, and Durnan looks and says, You 4, get those sturges. Troll is mine. And he rushes into the fray and begins to attack the trolls. The sturges begin to fly around, and 6, you are up first in the initiative.
How far away is the closest sturge?
Closest sturge to you right now is about 15 feet.
Is it still kind of over the portal, or is it in the bar?
They've climbed up, like they've flown over, so now they're just hovering. Kind of, some are hovering over, like 2 of them are hovering over the bar. One of them is still kind of hovering a little bit over the portal.
All right, I'm just going to run along the wall, and if I have to get to the closest one, I will leap from the wall to a tabletop. But I don't want to drop down to the floor since these things are flying. So I'm going to try to stay, get on a tabletop nearest to where this thing is and attack it.
Understand, when I meant 15 feet, you're like 15 feet away. Like it's not 15 feet in the air.
No, I get that.
Oh, okay. Because they're usually like pretty fat, slow,
right?
Kind of hovering around.
Yeah, I just mean I want to get to where it is. I want to close that 15 feet.
Let's do it. I love it.
So yeah.
So you run, leap onto a table. You manage to actually. You know what? Make me an acrobatics check.
Absolutely. That's 11 plus 5, 16.
So as you manage to leap from table to table, it's light. It's almost as if you're dancing across the wood. Not a single ale was spilt as you're leaping. You just managed to miss everyone's plate of food and every other drink as you leap up and make your attack. Roll for that sweet hit.
And as I leap into that final table, I withdraw my rapier with a metallic singing sound, taking a swipe for a 17 total as I lunge up.
And that hits. Roll for that damage.
Let's see, rapier, that is 1d8 plus 3. That's going to be 5 points of piercing damage.
And as you go through, how do you finish that sturge off?
I come in deliberately. I target its bloated belly. I know it's going to make a mess, but it's all part of the flourish. As I puncture its bloated belly, stabbing all the way through into its head, withdrawing my sword in a quick flourish that looks like the number 6. Sturge and troll blood spraying everywhere. And
the creature kind of moves back for an instant and kind of jerks a little and then kind of falls half on the portal and half not, actually kind of breaking it even more. And one half of it just seems to fall off and the other it just lays there and kind of goops. Next up is the troll. The troll kind of looks at Durnan for a moment, not sure how to react to this thing. But it goes in and kind of takes a hard swipe, and it rakes across Durnan's arm, even though he tries to block it, but it just rakes across one, and he kind of moves back a little, kind of clutching his arm, but he's determined to to get to kill this thing. Next up is you, Bevyn. Actually, because Bevyn, you rolled a 12, and who else rolled a 12? Anyone else? Oh no, because you both rolled 11s, right? All right, cool. So yeah, Bevyn, you are up.
All right, so Bevyn's just going to kind of move back over behind one of the tables and take aim with his short bow at one of the sturges, and going to take a shot. So that's going to be and that 20.
Oh,
I'll take that.
nice.
And
Let me put it this way. This is the shot. This is the uber shot. What does this incredible shot look like?
so you anybody that's paying attention just watches Bevyn. He had been over by the fight going on, and he hears this commotion. He just calmly walks from that side of the room, pulls his bow from one shoulder, reaches back, and in one smooth motion, kind of not even really looking at what he's shooting at, just kind of glancing around at all the everything else going on around him, and just kind of no look shot at this sturge, and it pins it against the wall as he pierces through the side of its head. So.
You just hear this really quick little as it just kind of like falls to the ground and just twitches its legs. And since you two tied, I'll let you guys decide which one of you guys goes first.
I have no preference. Do you want us to both like kind of moving at the same time, but one will start it? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's cool. Let's
Okay.
go for it.
All right. Do you want to go first, Anna?
So this troll, it is in the yawning portal, like kind of has its arms out, or is it over top now?
Yeah, it's in the bar. It's in the bar, and it's already raked. It's already hit Durnan pretty good. So, yeah.
Anna looks kind of almost with a bored expression at these sturges, and she looks towards the troll, and her eyes kind of light up, and she is gonna run at the troll, and she is going to try and climb up it, because she's pretty small, so she's not going to be able to get anywhere as vital as she'd like where she is. She needs to get a higher vantage point. So she kind of, and I can imagine that she takes out her rapier and her dagger, and she's going to run up to this troll, and she is just going to and try and climb up it.
Then let's make this a thing. All right. So as you run up, see. Make me an acrobatics or athletics check to climb up it. If athletics, I'll let you deal kind of 1 damage, because I'd hate to be like, yeah, you can make several attacks by doing this.
No. I'm okay with just it being very like just thematic stuff. She's gonna do acrobatics.
Right on. So you matrix your way up there.
That's a 24.
Yeah, you definitely matrix your way up there. Trolls are not smart, and trolls are not agile. So yeah, you're golden. So as you climb up onto its back, and I guess from being like attacked by sturges and having a fair bit of blood drained, it still seems a little weak and not very cognizant of your presence. So what would you in there? What do you want to do?
If you will allow me, she is just going to try and secure herself the best she can, because she knows once she hits this troll, it's going to start flailing. And so she just wants to, try and lock herself in. So with one hand, she's going to bury her rapier into this troll's shoulder and hold on to it as kind of an anchor.
All right. Well, then make Yeah, make me an attack roll.
It's a 24.
Nice. So yeah, you just sink straight in, and you didn't think it would go in because especially how thick troll hide is, but you just managed to find a spot, perhaps even a spot where a sturge had been feeding, and you just managed to sink your blade like straight to the hilt. What kind of damage that troll getting?
4.
4. Nice. All right. So now, of course, is onto you, Kiara.
I'm going to stand up, and there's going to be a flame that starts to gather in my palm. And I look at the last remaining sturge, and as the flame's developing, it's red, but not like the normal reddish fire. It's more of like a magenta and purple tone. And in the center of that flame, there's a winking eye. And I'm going to throw it at the last remaining sturge using Sacred Flame.
Whoops. That is not a save. Or I guess it would have to make a save, would it not?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. My phone just timed out on me.
Oh, no.
Dexterity.
Is it dex save? Okay.
Yeah.
So that is a 16. Does that...
Yeah, makes it.
So the sturge kind of like moving towards the four of you, the last one, kind of moves out of the way just as this ball, this little fireball kind of whizzes past. And as such, now it begins to kind of start moving towards some people who are like hiding, have flipped over tables and are hiding behind there. And they're starting to yell and scream as this sturge is starting to kind of like zip and make its way towards them. It is now Durnan's turn. Durnan grabs, takes his great sword, and oh my goodness, he supplants it straight into the thing. And not only does he like bury it in, but he kind of like moves it down to try and just open up its kind of distended stomach. Like some kind of a saw. I know right? I know, right? And that is, so he deals for 15 damage, just cuts this thing straight open, and the troll just howls back in pain. And now we're back up to the top of the round with you, 6.
Barely registering that Durnan has dispatched the troll at that moment, I'm more focused on this sturge that dodged out of the way of Kiara's flame attack. And I'm going to leap across the table again to try to get myself within 5 feet of this sturge. And at the same time, as I get up to it, I'm sheathing my sword. As I look up at it and kind of around at the room, and I say, "Do you not enjoy this show? Usually when you see something you like, we are met with thunderous applause." And I clap my hands together, and I'm casting the cantrip Thunderclap against the sturge.
Nice.
So as I clap my hand, it just goes, and it needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Nope, not a nat 2.
So it will take, let's see, that's a D6 damage, and that's a 6 on the die.
All right. I'm gonna, you know what? Sorry, I'm gonna narrate this one. But as you like kind of like clap and this thundering, you can almost see the reverberations, like just like a street on a hot day. You know, that those kind of waves shoot out, and for a moment you see the sturge kind of twitch in the air and kind of just move around, and then all of a sudden it shakes itself till it just shakes itself apart and just splatters out. A few people, actually, you see one guy who was kind of like peeking his head up over, kind of over a table to see what's going on, and suddenly get a face full of sturge goop. all across his face, and you just see him for a moment. Thank you. As he kind of spits out a mouthful of sturge and just other nasty bits and goes back behind the table. So the sturges are now done for. All that is left is the troll. And from there, we go on to the troll. The troll goes to make he goes to try and like reach back for Anna because something's got him, and he's not too happy about it. However, he misses with one of his claw attacks, and he tries again. He tries to swipe again at Durnan, and misses, and failing that, he just begins to kind of stomp around and start moving around, trying to flick whatever's on his back off. So I would need you, Anna, to make an athletics or a strength saving throw to try and hold on.
That's a 14.
All right. As this bucking off, it managed to kind of like move its shoulders in a way that you didn't expect. And unfortunately, you kind of you kind of get bucked off a bit. Nothing painful. You don't get like thrown off or anything because you were kind of expecting it. But you do manage to land kind of on your feet, and you look up to see this thing's rapier, the hilt of your rapier still inside of it. And that brings us over to Bevyn.
So Bevyn's gonna still having his bow drawn. He's gonna knock another arrow and pull back and just wait as the troll is stomping around. He wants a good shot at the gut of this thing as it's spinning around, so he's not shooting at Anna. And that's going to be a 15 to hit.
And that just hits.
Okay. And since there is a
yes, I would say you can add sneak attack damage for that.
Sneak attack on that since we have somebody nearby, which is going to do 8 points of piercing damage.
Nice. So that's oh, math. Why must you do this to me? There we go. And now, so again, the troll kind of bucks around. You actually see, just as you're doing it, the Durnan goes running kind of towards the bar and grabs a lantern from from on top, sitting on top of the bar. And so it's now Anna and Kiara's turn.
Anna is going to look up at her rapier. Well, I'm going to need that back. And she is going to run, and she's going to... Is the troll facing her, or is it facing away?
It is facing away, and it's just stomping around, trying to swat at everything and anything to eat, basically. So it's it's actually moving towards the people who are trying to hide from this thing.
So she's going to run, and she kind of slides down just beside it from behind, and she's going to try and cut at its Achilles tendons to try and get it to slow down.
All right, let's do this.
With her dagger, because her rapier is...
While she's doing that, can I do my spell?
Go for it. I like it.
I'm going to do command. And tell him to freeze.
Now, just a quick question on the spell command.
Mm-hmm. Must succeed on a wisdom saving throw.
Does the creature have to be able to speak common, or at least the language that you're speaking in?
Let me see here.
Or does it have to understand, I guess, is the...
It has no effect if it doesn't understand your language. So, no.
So you would probably think that, I mean, you'd probably think that, you know what, maybe that's not the right spell, but maybe there's another spell that you...
I'm going to switch to Sacred Flame and aim for its head.
That works. Fire good.
Fire's good with those.
Yeah.
Damn trolls.
I got a 15 with my dagger.
And that just hits. So as we switch back over to Anna, we see you kind of running as this thing is stomping around and still feeling the rapier, and you can even see the point of your rapier just kind of poking out through its chest, swatting around, trying to grab at tables or try to grab people. You come running through and kind of duck under. And what kind of damage is that?
6.
6 points of damage. Nice. And you see one of its legs, it just kind of falls to one leg, howling in pain as it tries to get up, but it just can't. The pain is just incredibly great. It's kind of now just kind of swatting in the air. How about you, Kiara? I think I have to make a dexterity saving throw. Isn't that it? Okay. And that is a 7, which I think is not good enough.
Nope.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be 7 points of damage, radiant.
Nice. And this creature just gets hit full on in the face, and you hear just howling. You even break a tooth off as the flame just kind of hits it, and it screams aloud. Durnan, seeing you do that, kind of it picks up on him for a moment, and he grabs the lantern and he smashes it, actually throws it at the troll, and it just tumbles. You just see it tumbling through the air, and the troll actually catches it in the air, and it looks at it, and it looks straight at Durnan with just hate in his eyes because he missed. But the troll catches it, and we're back up to the top of the round with 6.
Okay. How far away am I from the troll?
You are approximately 25 feet.
Excellent. I am going to move all the way to the troll, leaping across tables and leaping up onto the thing where I believe Anna's rapier is still lodged in its shoulder. So what I would like to do is leap up there, withdraw her rapier from its shoulder while driving my own rapier into it. The withdrawing of the rapier is just more of an interaction, not to do damage. But if you'll allow that to kind of in one motion pull and push.
Yeah, of course I'm gonna allow that. I'm not a saying no kind of GM.
You want any acrobatics or anything before I attack?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna buckle all the swashes, then yeah, I would.
I'm absolutely buckling swashes.
You're
so
buckling all the
that
swashes.
went out of the tray. Uh-oh. Let's see. That is acrobatics is a +5, so that's an 11.
So as you leap off one of the tables, as you kind of grab a hold of her rapier, or the hilt at least, You go to pull yours, but at the same time, your rapier kind of sticks a little in the scabbard, and the troll kind of like figures out that someone's trying to grab a hold of that rapier, and kind of jerks around. So you kind of manage to just hold on for dear life, but you're holding it, and even though you're causing it a little bit of pain, it's really nothing.
Since I couldn't get my rapier out and I'm basically hanging on by hers, can I still take a swipe with my claws at it? Or did I lose the attack in that fail?
No, you know what? I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say that you probably missed that opportunity for that moment. Yeah.
So here's what I'm going to do. As I am hanging from this troll, kind of whipping around, as I'm holding on as tight as I can and the hilt of Anna's rapier, I'm going to kind of flop around so that I'm like my back's against the troll, and I look over at Bevyn, and I say, "Watch how I do this, human. You might learn a thing or two." And as a bonus action, I'm using my words, my flourish, to inspire Bevyn. Because I suddenly remember that I'm a bard and I can do this thing.
That is a thing that happens, and an important thing that would happen.
I almost forgot that I was a barbarian who could rage, right? in joke. But yeah. So yes, Bevyn, you have a 1d6 to use. It's just a bardic inspiration, so I think it is just for an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. In the next 10 minutes, 1d6. And okay. I've used 1.
Attack but not damage, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And it's a good thing that you're next.
All right. So, because everybody else is running around doing crazy stuff, I'm just going to continue to sit in the back of the bar here and fling arrows at this thing. So, that is... You know what? I'm not even going to waste my inspiration on that one because that was a garbage roll. So I just send an arrow flying. 6, you just feel an arrow. You can hear it as it buzzes by your head.
I said, watch this, not hit this.
The troll now tries to grab you, 6. Like it reaches back and it tries to make an attack on you, and that is a 24 to hit.
Yes, that will absolutely hit me.
Okay. And you take 9 points of slashing damage as it kind of it grabs, and then it just kind of rakes up. And you feel it, like you feel the claws dig into your armor and pull up as you get hurt kind of good there.
Everybody knows you are not supposed to touch a cat there.
I thought it was
it's not the way you pet me. I'm hurting.
Do you think you'll still be able to hold on?
Honestly, I took all but 1 of my hit points of damage, so I don't know if you want. I think I would just straight up choose to fail if there was any check to hold on. I think I would absolutely let go of her rapier and kind of just tumble to the floor.
Sure. As the pain just racks you, you let go. You hit the floor and you begin to kind of crawl away. We now come to because the troll can't really get anyone else but those that were close to you. We actually come to Durnan, who I accidentally put out of order last round, so I apologize for that one. It's been a little while since I've actually run a 5e game. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a while. Durnan goes running up, and you see him, strangely enough, like he could have gone straight for the troll's head or its body or any other such a spot, but he actually goes for the lantern in its hand. He takes his blade and at the last moment kind of flicks it so it's hitting flat, and it smashes against the lantern oil and fire, dousing the troll in flames, and that will deal it a whole mess of damage. Yep. So that'll deal it at least 12 points of damage, and this troll is now looking extremely hurt. Bits of it are charred, unlike before when you can see the flesh begin to like knit itself back together with this creature's regeneration. It's now just blackened, charred, falling off. It's howling. It's all kinds of messed up. And the next up are Kiara and Anna.
Anna is going to I imagine she kind of run passes Six, and she just kind of looks back. I thought you were a sword whisperer. And she keeps running, and she's going to try and do kind of the same thing that Six did, except she's hoping that it'll actually work. So to run up and to hold on to the rapier, and at the same time to take her dagger and stab it. Not take her rapier out, but she wants to use it more as like a handhold.
Okay. So again, I'll say an acrobatics rule to kind of run up. Now this thing's kind of on its knees, so it's not going to be, the DC's a little bit better. So
Yep, got a 14.
That would be enough, because even though you're smaller in stature, you're still able to, and especially seeing it's how it's your own sword that you've used, you're just able to kind of grip on and kind of hold it in place as you kind of begin to move around, as the creature starts to begin to buck a little, and you're going to stab it with your dagger.
Mm-hmm.
Dagger. All right, let's do it.
That is a 25.
Hang on. Let me check to see if that. Yes, it hits. Roll for damage if you.
I think you hit any offspring that it has too.
How do you do crits?
We'll do crits the exact same way that Jake does. So automatic max plus rolling.
That's 14 damage.
All right, just give me a second here. Gotta mess with its HP. Oh, that's right. How do you finish it off?
So she runs up to it and kind of gives Six this like, let me do it, let me show you. And she runs up, she holds on to her dagger, and she kind of she comes across the troll as she's holding on, and I think she almost slips. So it's very inadvertent. She was going for an eye, she was going for the mouth, but she slips, and she, in an attempt to gain whatever hold she could, she sticks it into the troll's neck and uses her weight to slide it across.
That's so
And then
badass.
Rides the troll down, just kind of is kneeling on it.
And the creature blood just gouting from its open throat. It's on its knees and just stumbles a bit and then falls, hits the ground. Durnan wastes no time in grabbing more oil to pour onto it, and just lights it up. And at that moment, everyone just cheers, just this big uproarious cheering. And people are coming up and they're putting the tables back and they're slapping you guys on the shoulder and
Ow.
shaking your hand, and automatically you see two of these servers come up to you, and one of them kind of grabs the back of your head, Six, and punches you. No, I'm just kidding. He grabs what looks to be like kind of like a small bowl, and you can taste kind of a very familiar kind of warm liquid, and it's not milk. Yeah, it's this.
I was gonna say, did you just give me a bowl of milk?
I was tempted to, but I thought, nah, I'm not that much of a meanie. You taste this kind of healing poultice, which is kind of very very used throughout all of Waterdeep, and you feel that your wounds are beginning to close, which is awesome, Pants. You get healed all the way back. You get healed 12 hit points, which is like over. So yeah, you feel great, man. You can already feel the wound, like the claw marks beginning to kind of stitch themselves and close up again, as this kind of warm feeling spreads throughout your entire body. As everyone's cheering and everything else, you see Dernan kind of pointing to a few people to come and clean up the mess. Even though, like, as many of the crowd just crowding around you, cheering and handing you guys beverages and drinks and smiling and clapping. One person you see, you actually begin to hear from the back, get out. Hello. Hello. You four look like adventurers. Very well done. Nice fighting with the troll thing. Can we go someplace and talk? Would you mind terribly? Can you give the fine heroes of the yawning portal a bit of room, please? And he kind of motions you to follow him. He kind of pushes through the crowd. Come on, don't tarry. And as he kind of makes his way toward one table that hadn't been knocked over. Would you like to follow him?
I lean over to whoever's closest to me. Actually, I think given her comment, I would probably lean over to Anna and just say, this kind of thing is bound to happen as we grow in fame. I'm used to this. And by the way, it's Sword Dancer, not Whisperer. As I do a quick prestidigitation to myself to just kind of clean away sturge blood, troll blood, my own blood, and begin to follow whoever this figure is. Come on, are you coming?
Anna slaps Bevyn on the shoulder. You see, it's so much better than a dark alleyway. And she would begin following.
Bevyn just kind of, fine. He follows everybody over.
I don't say anything. I just put my hood back up and I follow quietly behind.
So as he kind of leads you all and sits you kind of all around a table, he says, "Hello. Now I am sure you know who I am. So many people do.
I'm sorry. Who are you?
Are you kidding? What do you mean? Who are you? I am the administrator of aberrations. I am the unknowledgeable of the undead. I am.
Boy, name.
Are you Zolo?
I am Volothamp Gadam. I'll have you know, the very author of the most helpful adventurer's guide in all of Faerun.
He's gonna notice that she's just given him a wink of her eye when she said that.
He kind of smiles a little. I am one of the most celebrated authors in all of the Sword Coast, perhaps even the entire world. But fine, I suppose you're new at this whole thing, and, well, quite frankly, I need a little bit of assistance, and I think you four would be perfect to help me. There's money in it for you. Naturally, of course. If
Bevyn
you...
grabs a chair and just pulls right up.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
Leans in.
Oh, good, good. 2 nights ago, I was out drinking with a very good friend of mine by the name of Floon Blagmar. Yes, you heard me right. Don't ask. I don't know what his parents were thinking, but I mean, how do you even follow up Blagmar anyway? It doesn't matter. I was drinking with him 2 nights ago in a quaint, dingy little establishment down by the dock ward, and it's called the Skewered Dragon. Well, we had a few drinks, and I left Floon there because I had a burst of inspiration for my brand new book. Volo's Guide to Spectres. Well, anyway, it's going to be an interesting book. Spirits and Spectres, you see, because it's all about the undead. It's supposed to be a new thing. At any rate, I left him, and, well, I haven't seen or heard from him in 2 days now, and, well, he seems like a nice chap. Well, he is a nice chap, but he doesn't quite have, well, he's not quite very smart. If you could please find him, I can give you each 10 gold pieces if you accept. And I'm a little strapped for cash right now, but if you can find him and return him, I shall give you 100 gold pieces each.
Do you want him alive?
Yes, of course I want him alive. He's a fine, upstanding young chap. What?
But what if we find him dead?
Don't find him dead. See, that was easy.
Pardon me for asking this question in such a way, but this Floon, was it?
Yes.
What exactly is his ancestry? So we know who we are looking for.
I don't know. I mean, his parents were just ordinary folk, and he was an ordinary fella. Handsome young man, well built.
Is he a human? Is he?
Yeah, yes. No. Yes, he's a human. Red hair, tall, well built, easygoing, goofy bit of grin, but you know, he's a fine fellow, and no, I don't want him dead. Find him alive.
But what if we do find him dead? Do we get 50 gold?
I think we need to talk about your negotiation tactics, Anna. Let's just find him alive.
Yes, find him alive. As I said, last time I had spoken to him, it was 2 nights ago. We were drinking in the Skewered Dragon, and I decided to leave, and he decided to stay. After that, I've not seen him for quite some time.
Is that a normal haunt of yours?
Well, I like to dabble. You see, I mean, after all, Waterdeep is a city of splendors. And how splendiferous is it if I stick to only one establishment? So, I mean, we would go to a few places. The Skewered Dragon is nice. It's quaint. It's got a lovely view of the docks.
So you said that the Skewered Dragon, we would find this in the dock ward. That
Yes,
is, you mean the docks down by the harbor, by the water?
Yes. I mean, generally, that is what docks are. You'll live. Seriously, it'll be fine. I mean, it's on dry land. You don't have to go swimming or anything. I mean,
I did not say any such thing about having any issue with that. I was just clarifying that it was the docks down by the harbor, by
But he was
the
at least
water.
familiar with the area.
Oh yes, I mean we've gone there a few times, and we've gone to many other places. I do know that he does fancy a good game of cards, so he may have stayed or stuck around to play some Three Dragon Ante.
What about company of another kind?
Oh, I have absolutely no idea. I mean, normally it's just us that seems to hang out together, talk.
So he's never just wandered off to a little house somewhere else after you have finished your games of cards?
Oh no. No. He's a fine, upstanding chap, but oh goodness, no, he would be torn apart by ravenous wolves in an establishment such as that.
So he is something of an innocent.
Yes. Like I said, fine fellow, but definitely a bit of naivety and not exactly. Well, he's not hard on the eyes. I should know this. I mean, I've seen enough people as we walk by turn their heads. First I thought it was me, but who am I kidding? It's him.
So why is it you want us to find him? What is it that makes him worth so much to you?
Because he's my friend. And to be perfectly honest, in a place like this, City of Splendors, a city so large, sometimes it's hard to find those people that you really care about and you just really want to build up a good friendship with.
He's the one that puts up with your blather, then.
I suppose so. I just do miss him terribly, and I want him to be okay, and I just feel a little guilty. I mean, I left him, he said he would be fine, and now that I cannot find him, I'm worried.
Kiara's going to push her hood back. Did he have anything remarkable on his person that might help us identify him or know right away it is him? Does he wear a medallion or a belt of some sort? Or
No, I mean, he usually simply just wears nice clothing. Doesn't not quite in the same breath as a noble lord or anything, but he does dress quite nicely. Yeah, I mean, other than his physical description, I cannot think of anything else that would definitely identify him.
So to be clear, we are looking for a ruggedly handsome, well-built, red-headed gentleman in the dock ward, down by the harbor, by the water.
Who is definitely not dead.
This is, yes, definitely not dead.
In future cases, if you're going to take other jobs, maybe not lead with that one.
Okay,
Maybe not lead.
I will speak with her about negotiating tactics and a thing. Anna, have you heard the word tact? This perhaps is a thing I can teach you.
Oh, she has none of that.
But no, it's just practical.
yes, but usually, darling, you should wait until the conversation's had some time to establish itself.
But if he's dead,
If he's dead, we have to deal with something else entirely. Let's not get into a negative perception. You never know what luck might be on our side with this venture.
I feel pretty confident, and in saying this, Mr. Gedarm, I believe it was.
Yes, Volotham Kedam.
I feel pretty confident in saying this, that we are interested. And I kind of look at the other three as if to kind of, right? We want to do this thing, yes? I want to do this thing.
I'm sure we could all use the coin.
I do like gold.
I can always use more coins in my purse.
yeah, all right.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you all so much. Well, I must be getting on. More pages to write and more royalties to collect, especially to, pay you. Thank you so much. Enjoy. And, and he kind of toddles off.
So Bevyn stands up to shake his hand, offers a hand to shake, tries to give an embrace.
Yep, he does. He'll shake your hand and really kind of like profusely shake it, and you can definitely tell it's just someone who's really grateful that someone's kind of helping.
I just go to give him embrace him in a hug, and I'm going to pickpocket him. And I'm going to use my inspiration. $19.
All right. You do successfully pickpocket him without his notice. You find one button and one copper piece that you're pretty sure has been shaved down.
Hi, Mr. Volo. It's been a pleasure. Have a good evening.
Just a moment. I do believe there was mention of 10 gold pieces to take on this mission.
Oh, yes, right. And he reaches over to the other side and pulls out kind of a smaller pouch of coins and hands it to you as basically 100 gold coins. So, 40 gold coins, 10 for each of you, because math, whatever. So that is for you to do with as you will. And now it's all open to you. All the City of Splendors.
Right.
So I don't know what you guys wish to do. If you guys want to.
I will give each of them 10 gold pieces. Perhaps a bit reluctantly. I look longingly at the 40 gold pieces. But I divvy them out into 4 equal piles and push them across the table to each of them. Well, looks like we are in business now.
So it appears.
And, Anna, never say an amount when you're trying to negotiate over alive versus dead. I mean, you said you came right out with a 50 gold pieces for a dead body, but maybe he was going to pay more for the dead body.
There's something to be said for some negotiations before showing how much you are willing to actually do it for.
Well, there's the whole thing with the soul, and I just assumed that the soul made the body worth double what it is. Does that not make sense?
Perhaps in your head, but he may not be surprised if we stopped ourselves at 75.
Ah, I see.
You all think
Monsters.
you all think so small. Perhaps he would have paid 150 or 200. If this man is special to him, it is of no matter. I feel very confident that we should probably find this man alive. But what time of day is it? I mean, is it nighttime?
No. As you walk out, well, if you would walk out, or if you were to look out a window, you would see it's kind of like around the 1:30, 2 o'clock. So just past noon. The sun's starting to creep in, but it is autumn in the City of Splendors. So I mean, it's if you do decide to leave, it's a little bit chilled. So you guys probably would have like a little bit warmer cloaks, or from the fighting, got your blood up. And don't worry, Anna, I'm going to be nice and say that you probably did retrieve your rapier before the body was burnt to cinders. And it does get darker a little bit sooner, but yeah, the air is a bit cooler and a bit brisk
Would we know how far the yawning portal is from this dock ward?
Yeah, I mean, spending any time in like as the time that you guys have spent in, I would say that it's not terribly far away, but it's probably about a good half an hour walk.
So I'm wondering, is this something we want to take on right now? Is there anything else that we need to do? I mean, Bevyn, you seemed like you had some things you wanted to tell us. And then very quickly we kind of got thrown into the middle of things.
Well, to be honest, I don't think this is a bad idea. I think we'd like to work together, but I wouldn't mind seeing how we work together. This might be a good test.
Ooh, a trial period.
I mean, I know Anna. She works well. She's good at killing, not so much in negotiating, but she can kill with the best of them.
Well, and you two certainly helped me out a while back.
I am quite good with a blade myself, most days. Granted, most of my blade work has been for show, for coin, but what is the difference between flashing a blade through the air or piercing it through the flesh of a hungry troll or a blood-filled sturge?
The follow-through.
Well,
Yes,
I
you
think
look
there are two
very
dead
nice.
sturges back here that will tell you I followed through quite nicely.
But with the troll, you were a little lacking in your performance.
You lack in negotiations, I lack in troll fighting. These are all areas we can improve on.
Well, certainly no one's perfect, but we're lucky to have at least found each other.
I think this is true for now. Let us see where this takes us, as Bevyn says. So, is this a thing we should do now?
Probably best. We have a little bit of time.
I don't know about you, but I feel like I have all kinds of time. Let's do this.
Let us go then.
And I guess we're getting up and heading out the door into the streets of Waterdeep.
And as you stand up and you begin to walk out, you get one last look from Durnan. He kind of looks at all four of you, and you can just audibly barely hear, "He's fighting." And he goes back to kind of cleaning his bar. As you open the door, you suddenly feel this kind of, again, this chilled kind of autumn wind kind of hit you. But even though the streets are filled with leaves of different colors of amber and ochre and orange, flame and brown, you also see pennants and other such decorations lining all the streets and in all the homes. Children running around, having with apples and everything else, as this is the time for High Harvest Tide Festival. A large festival where all of the surrounding farmsteads, all of the surrounding towns come and give their food, some of their food, to the city of Waterdeep, so that people don't, starve to death. Some of the farms, you see carts kind of pushing, people yelling and carts moving to all the different warehouses and all the different granaries situated all throughout the City of Splendors. As you kind of make your way, the hustle and bustle of this city just seems nonstop, no matter at what point in time. You see a few children kind of laughing and playing as they're playing on various small statues and fountains and chasing each other. Some of them have like their faces kind of painted up a little bit, and they're all giggling and smiling as you just run through the crowd. As you make your way down, you kind of turn off of the main road a little to kind of get your bearings down. You've been traveling for about 20 minutes at this point. You kind of get to one area called Zastro Street, and you're suddenly stopped, and before the four of you lies a scene of bloody carnage. And this is where we're going to take our break.
All right.
Just for a little bit. Thank you. And I, just to do our stuff and things. In the meantime, everyone, I'm not looking at the chat because I'm scared. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm nervous as all hell to run this because I haven't.
It's good. You're fine.
But you know, I hope you guys are enjoying it, having a great time. I'm having a great time because these guys are great and they make me great. That's not true. They overshadow me and I love it. Like, piece de resistance. I hope you guys have a great one. Check out all of their channels and check out the AbTab Facebook group. You might have a really good time because I have a good time there. And I met Jake there, and I met the amazing, super awesome Megan, and I met these people as well. You know, I met all these great people, and it's all thanks to AbTab. So come check it out, and you can talk to me and stuff. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. So we'll catch you guys after the break.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the break screen here in a quick
Don't go
second.
anywhere. We're just,
In a quick second, I'm going to go to the break screen. But yeah, huge thank you. I know V and I in particular, and I think Dwight are kind of in the chat. Thank you to everybody that's tuning in, both on YouTube and Twitch. Hope you're enjoying the show. Be sure to hit those follow or subscribe buttons. There was a question, do we play every Monday night? Yes, this is session 1. We will be right here at 8:30 p.m. Eastern every Monday night until we hit level 20 and beyond. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and take that break for probably, about 5 minutes, Mike?
Yeah.
All right. See you guys in a little bit.
Oh, that music! I love that music. As the four of you turn down to this side street, you see 8 or 9 corpses of what appear to be bandits, or at least a couple of different gang members who have clearly got into a major tussle. There are several city watch guards standing there. A few of them are kind of like tending to the dead and kind of getting them ready to be brought to whatever temple necessary to inter them. You see 3 bandits sitting on the ground. Each one of them has a tattoo either on the side of their neck or on their arm, and it's of a winged serpent. A guardsman kind of standing in front of the area is kind of pushing all the kind of rubberneckers, the looky-loos, away, and you four are no exception. He says, right, you four, on you go. There's nothing to see here.
In all the chaos, I want to kind of look around and just see if I can spot this anybody, a well-built, ruggedly handsome, red-haired gentleman.
Sure. Make me a perception check.
7? Nope. 5?
I mean, you see people. You think you see a ruggedly handsome gentleman standing over by a shop with red hair, but it does turn out to be a sack of tomatoes. You do see, you have a look. There's just other people kind of like wandering around, but not quite as many. Obviously a violent skirmish took place here. Blood is just kind of pooling in the kind of cobblestones and kind of running off towards the into like sewer grates and other bits like that.
I don't know about you, but this is the kind of situation I find it best to circumnavigate.
Anna would go up to the guard. But we need to get through there.
You can go around.
That's what circumnavigate means.
But they're already dead. It's over.
They have some extra work they need to do besides the fact they're just dead. And then I'm going to look at one of the guards. What would be your most recommended approach to make our way around this area instead?
I don't know. Bloody tourists. Head down. Go around here. Just go down that street there. That's Fillet Street. Head down Fillet Street, and I don't know where you headed. You headed to the docks?
Yes.
Aye.
Right. Yeah. No. Head round Fillet Street or Fillet Lane, and the corner there. You see that purple shop over there, and you see like kind of a building. Like tenements are everywhere in the dock ward district. Like you see a lot of windows kind of boarded over with just like little slats instead of actual glass. Any windows that had been there not tended to have been broken, shattered, or covered with a kind of a thick grime. People kind of rush. People don't actually really walk so much as they kind of rush from point to point to point. A few people are huddled around barrels that are on like kind of heated up or on fire. And they're just kind of warming their hands up against the chill of the autumn air. But you notice through all these tenements, you see this one shop that seems to be just a cacophony of purple, lavender and royal purple and all different shades and hues, kind of like mixed into this one small building. That right there, that's Zoblob's shop. Head down past that, and well, you're definitely in the heart of the the dock wards. So, yeah, is that it?
Yes, thank you very much. And she just gives him a very winning smile.
Right. Oh, hey, what's this? And he bends down and he picks up. Hey, I found a copper piece. That must be me lucky day. And he kind of puts it into his pocket.
I believe you're right.
And he smiles and at the four of you, clearly kind of in a bit of a more chipper mood, and then kind of guides you along the street around the violence or the aftermath on towards the docks.
Would Anna recognize that tattoo? Or if she didn't, she would ask Bevyn if he did.
You can make.
Can I make a roll?
Yeah, you can make a roll. Heck yeah. You can do either a straight intelligence check, or if you have knowledge local or knowledge underworld. No, knowledge underworld. That is not appearing in this game. You can make a general check. Tell you what, roll me a d20. Don't roll a 1. How about
Were you just throwing Pathfinder rules into this game?
I stop that. What'd you roll?
Just a straight D20 was a 14.
Oh yeah, you recognize that symbol, the flying serpent, as a member of that person. Individual is a member of the Zentarum, and you, from what you know of the Zentarum are a group of mercenaries who also deal in such things as smuggling, generally weapons, for a tidy profit to more warlike groups, and they also deal a lot with protection, not so much racketeering, but more of a, hey, do you need some armed thugs? Because have we got a lineup for you? Kind of a business.
So she would kind of lean over to Bevyn. Looks like the Zentarum
Aye,
maybe bit off a little more than they could chew.
could be. Best we move around him, though. Let's get on over to the
Well.
Steward Dragon and see what we can find.
Was there any other groups in there, or did it just look like the Zentarum of the bodies?
I'll tell you what. You'd have to make me a perception check for that one.
Sure. 26.
Oh my goodness. From that roll, as you guys are passing kind of on your way down Zastro Street, you kind of pass by and you notice one of them one of the dead has what looks to be a circle with 10 kind of points sticking out of it. And you would recognize that being in that kind of field. You would recognize that individual as being from the Xanathar's Guild. Which is another guild of thugs. And these individuals mostly deal in, well, basically everything: murder, kidnapping, racketeering, protection, running numbers, basically anything that will gain power over the masses and make lots of money. So they're not nice people.
We should be careful, don't you think? She would nod over to the Xanathar guy as well.
He's been at each other's throats for some time now. I don't like what they're doing. Makes things too risky here.
Same story, different time.
I'm sorry. Am I missing something? I'm talking like Bevyn.
It happens.
I forgot.
We're like, zooming.
Yeah. Yeah. 6 is blissfully ignorant of all of this stuff. He doesn't really have any knowledge of the underworld, and he's not really that much into the whole streetwise thing either. I think he's just kind of like, he sees the carnage. Like, I feel pretty confident that we should avoid these kind of skirmishes where we are not directly involved. There's a lot of blood all over the ground there, and
I absolutely agree with you on that one. They're not exactly any of the types you'd want to tango with late at night.
do you know them?
They have their reputation. Each one.
I mean, I have a reputation too, but it's for entertainment.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of that down here. There's more stabbiness going on around these parts. It's best to steer clear.
It's quite exciting. Maybe you could get some practice in.
Well, I mean,
She's looking at 6.
I'm incredibly pleased that we have come down here to this place that we are best to avoid. It is. I'm beginning to have second thoughts. And then I think my hand would absent-mindedly go to my coin pouch and feel the additional 10 gold pieces there, and kind of like jingle. But I can see the merit in why we are going this way.
Except you've just shown where you've kept your coin.
I move my coin all the time. Don't be looking at my coin pouch.
Don't be rattling it for others to find it faster. You really don't travel in this type of area, do you?
I really don't. This is not the kind of place I would normally find myself. Anywhere near the docks, by the harbor, by the water. No. You are very much right. Yes.
Well,
Don't
first
worry,
tip,
Catman. We'll take care of you.
and keep your coin closer and don't rattle it.
I'm going to not so stealthily but surreptitiously kind of turn and undo my coin pouch, like, so my back's turned, and I'm kind of like, you'd hear. No, I put it. Okay, I'm gonna loop it over my belt and tuck it inside my waistband.
All right, you have advantage against being pickpocketed.
Oh. Anyway, carry on. Nothing to see. I was not doing anything.
So as that moment, as you guys are walking and talking, you suddenly appear outside of this shop, and you see hanging just kind of this simple wooden sign with a purple background, and it's just kind of in the autumn wind. It's kind of just. And it just says Old Zoblob's shop, of course, with 2 P's and an E on the end, because that's how we do things. And in the window, you see a beholder.
Ah!
That's not moving. It appears to be stuffed. And the door, which is a purple door, because is slightly ajar. You see kind of like wafts of this like thick purple smoke kind of just coming out of like the bottom of this shop. This kind of smells of like blackberries and mountain flowers, like this very fragrant, inviting scent.
Do you smell that?
Smells heavenly.
Very fragrant and inviting. I'm not going to lie. My curiosity is piqued.
This is totally not a trap.
Do either of you want to check things out for any wares from this particular place, or should we
I mean,
keep going?
do you know what this place is? What do they sell other than whatever that is? I'm kind of wondering how knowledgeable or how out in the open, since I'm used to being hired to entertain at parties for nobles, maybe kind of like not the high level nobles, but like mid tier nobles. And so, would I have any knowledge of the Xanathar or beholders? Is it a common thing?
Yeah, I mean, well, Xanathar, no one really knows who Xanathar is. Xanathar is the underworld prince. No one knows what he looks like, and even those that do are sworn to the utmost secrecy. So it is like no one would know that. I mean, some people may have been told fanciful tales of floating creatures that are just one big eyeball that have many other little eye stalks that do insanely magical things, and they're dangerous and they should be avoided. Many people know about that, but not everyone knows the level of knowledge that who they know the major players, but they don't know all the details. So you would probably have been told through people talking and stuff that yes, there are beholders and they're dangerous, and one should never tangle with one, no matter the size. Yeah.
I don't know that I would actually, with that bit of knowledge, I don't know that I would actually immediately recognize that that's what this is. I see whatever this stuff thing is as a blob with a big eye and a bunch of other eyes. This thing is horrific, whatever it is. But I must admit, I'm curious. And I kind of look at it, and then I look away. And I kind of look at it, and I look away. The hair on the back of my neck is rising up. My ears are laying flat a little bit.
And no matter which way you go, you see the eyes are just following you.
Oh, all 11 of them?
All 11 of them.
Nice.
I'm actually doing that. I'm walking back and forth. It's everywhere I go. It watches me. I don't know. Maybe we should not go into this place.
Let's go into the place.
That's what I was saying. We should go into the place.
If you're going to be with us, you got to get used to this kind of thing. So I think we got to go in here and show you what this place is about. So Bevyn kind of pushes his way in.
All right. Inside, much like the outside, you were assaulted with many purple things. And every shelf, every cabinet, everything are these small trinkets everywhere that this apparent individual who owns this place is selling, but they're all colored purple. You see the owner of said smoke, a deep gnome dressed in a crimson cloak, sitting cross-legged on a stool. He is holding a purple wood pipe and just smoking, letting this smoke billow. His eyes seem to be very peaceful and closed. However, the tattoos of eyes all over his face, like on his cheeks, everywhere else, up and around, almost into a halo of his like on top of his head, remain open. As he kind of sits and holds his pipe. Good afternoon. I bid you welcome to Old Zoblob's shop. And he opens his eyes and he looks at the two of you. You see this bald, completely bald, pointed ears. And he, how may I interest you today?
Wait, how much for that beholder in the window?
Oh, you mean Zoblob? He's not for sale.
Oh, I don't think that's true. My cat friend here, Seems pretty taken with him.
Well, now let's not just go putting words into my mouth. I was interested in it. I did not say that I would want to buy this thing. I don't even know what a Zablob is.
Zablob is not a thing. Zablob is his name. He was a beholder, a very powerful one.
Was?
Well, now he is dead.
Did
If he
you,
was
you kill him?
Something like that. And he goes and he takes another draw. If there is anything I can help you find in my shop, please do not hesitate.
Do you people often come in here from the other areas?
Oh, yes. I do see many things. And he kind of chuckles at that to himself.
You didn't by any chance happen to see a rather tall, red-headed, good-looking fellow traipse through here any time the past couple days?
Well, I see many things. I do not say that I say many things. I hope you're not thinking that I would just simply open my mouth and say the first things that come to my mind. And he takes another draw off his pipe, and this like big bellow of like lavender smoke comes like pouring down, and it seems to be like much heavier than air. Like the typical like, wow bro, do you even vape? Like it just like kind of like billows down and kind of just like you're even traipsing through it as you walk through. You're just kind of moving through this this purple like smoke.
Well, some do and some don't share. It all depends on the luck of the day, I suppose.
I suppose. I suppose maybe I have seen something, but who can say?
How much is this? And I pick up a trinket off of a nearby shelf.
Hang on a second. We're gonna roll a random one because you've been enamored with one trinket. And that is number 15. So you have in your hand, it is a bright purple feather. Oh, that. Yes. It is 4 gold. And he takes another draw off his pipe.
For a feather?
It's a very nice feather.
I can go out to the dock and pull one off a gull there, and it's just as nice, and paint it in purple paint, and you mean I can sell that for 4 gold?
Perhaps.
Bevyn, we're in the wrong business.
What?
Maybe.
What does this feather do? I mean, what does it come from?
Well, I am just a deep gnome who spent most of my life under the mountain tops. But even I know a feather comes from a bird. He takes another draw off his pipe.
I know it comes from a bird. I mean, look at me. Do you not think that I know where birds are?
I don't know. You look like a cat to me, not a bird.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna do a curiosity roll.
Oh dear.
And
you're dead.
No, I'm not gonna.
We solved that one.
I'm gonna set it down.
All right.
Maybe another time.
Of course.
But wait,
if
if I did buy this feather,
yeah,
would you then perhaps be more inclined to answer her questions?
Make me a persuasion roll.
I'm very persuasive.
You are.
That is a 19 on the die, so that's going to be a 24.
He taps the mouthpiece of the pipe on his lips for a moment. You have yourself a deal.
Very well. And I'm going to turn around so nobody can see me as I grab my coin purse and take out 4 gold pieces from my stash, turn back around and tuck it away. I believe These are the 4 gold pieces you wanted for this rather lovely feather. And I will hand them over to this
Zoblob.
new dude.
So Zoblob kind of like holds out 4 bony fingers, and then kind of snatches them quickly and puts it into some hidden pocket somewhere. Now, what was it you wanted to know? Ah, yes, tall, handsome fellow. What was his ancestry? Elven, human, dwarven? No, you said tall. Half orc, perhaps?
He was a human.
Ah, a human. Yes, I know them
human.
very. I know humans quite well. Yes. I do remember seeing this human and another human that looked very similar, shocking red hair, handsome, tall, well dressed. Yes, they were jumped outside my shop by 5 men. I think there were 5. One of them had a tattoo on his neck, some type of symbol. I have seen this symbol before. Ah, yes, it was a winged serpent. They grabbed your human and your human's friend, another tall, red hair, and they whisked them away. To where? I do not know, but they did not come into my shop, and they did not buy that purple feather. I thank you for that. And he takes another draw of his pipe.
I'm already tucking the purple feather into my hat.
So there were 2 tall, handsome-looking redheads, surrounded by 3 other gentlemen, to use the word loosely.
No. They were these 2 that you are looking for, or one that you were looking for and his friend. And then 5 individuals, all dressed, black armor. I don't know why everyone likes black armor. Purple is better. It's my opinion. One of them had a tattoo of the black winged snake. The 5 grabbed the 2 and whisked them away. And I do not know where, unfortunately. I was tending my shop.
And a lovely shop it is.
Yes, I agree.
Do you get many customers daily?
Some. But not often. Would you like to buy something?
Oh, I was just wondering if you had luck in sales is all. Seems like a rather nice shop.
I make do. But if that is all, I am going to enjoy my pipe. So if you wish to buy something else, please do. If not, then I bid you good day.
Perhaps one day we will come back for that beholder in the window.
The one with the waggly tail?
You can try to purchase him. You can try to take him. But I would not suggest it. And he just sits there and smirks and smokes his pipe. His eyes are closing.
I think we're going to get about all we can from this one.
You don't want to buy anything? There's lots of things here.
Trinkets are nice, but they can weigh you down.
My feather
I
does
don't
not
like
weigh
it.
anything. I'm sorry, what was that, Megan?
She just says, I don't like purple. But I think we have some friends that we can ask. I mean,
All right.
half of them are bloodied all over the cobblestone, but there was a few that were still alive.
Agreed. Let's head back. See what we can find.
All right.
That
I'm
seems
game
like
to-
a reasonable solution to go back to the scene of the crime.
Well, we're getting some common traits between certain groups. It might be worth checking out.
As you exit the shop and begin to walk back up to where the crime scene was, or the fight was, you notice that the bodies are gone. The guards have already led them down, and they're fairly far up the road, going up toward the local jail of the those wards. And other than the what blood on the street had been already begun to be cleaned up by several of these street laborers who work in the area, making sure everything remains clean and ish. So the whole area has been kind of swept free.
How far away are they? Like really, like very.
Yeah, in the 10 minutes that you've spent talking, like they're marching at a clip pace, and they're marching prisoners, so they're not exactly going to be like slowly walking toward the jail. They want these guys in prison pretty quickly.
So Bevyn's just going to go to one of the laborers and just tap him on the shoulder to get his attention. Oi, the bodies, the ones with the snakes. You seen them around here before?
What, the ones? That tattoo. I've heard that it belongs to a group known very well in the City of Splendors. It's called the Zentarum.
Yes. I know that.
Yes, they're not very nice people.
Do you know where we can find them? I need to talk to them.
I do not. But I think some of them drink down in the dock wards. I think some of them drink up in the north. They're usually around, mostly when you least want them to be.
Right. In particular, watering hole we can find them at around these parts.
There are many. I mean, there are the docks. You can go to. The nearest one is. Let's see. There's the Sea Maiden. There's the Skewered something. Skewered Dragon. I believe there's also the Anchor Point. There are many. There is always an individual from the Zentarum generally there.
So Bevyn's gonna reach into his coin purse and slip out a gold piece. Thank you. Have a nice night. Hands him the gold. Just kind of handshakes it to him.
He just flicks out two fingers as you kind of like hold it out to him, and he just snatches it. And even for someone who looks as like weak and frail as he does, his grip is like iron. He just snaps that thing away so fast, and even just palms it. And when he opens his palm again, it's gone. He's already back to smoking his pipe. Good day. And as you guys leave the shop, which, unless you guys want anything else to ask him. Okay. So as you leave the shop, you look down the street. Down the street, you see Fillet Lane, and there's kind of like, you see a building, and it's like you can just see the rooftop. And you can actually see an anchor that has been like, looks like it's been thrust into the roof of this building. And you see like a couple of other areas where buildings have been like kind of like in rough condition and just just terribly maintained. And that would be to your left, and then to your right, you can see as the tenements become fewer and fewer, it goes back up towards the center of city to your right. Where would you like to go?
You're muted, Dwight.
Oh, thank goodness it's not just me.
Sorry. Think we ought to try this skewer dragon? I've heard the name twice tonight. Might be a good place. Do some looking around.
Definitely doesn't sound like a coincidence if we've heard it twice already.
Well, at this point, I am completely out of my element. Don't get me wrong, I am comfortable, but I will follow your lead. I will watch your back, as they say.
All right, let's go.
As you make your way down towards the skewer dragon, sure enough, the very building with an anchor jutting into it, you see a sign hanging off of one piece of rope that's just rotting through, ready to fall down. And you can see skewer dragon, horribly misspelled. Matter of fact, instead of dragon, it actually does say Dargan on it. One window has been completely smashed in. Another window has been boarded up, trying desperately to hold whatever pane of glass left in there that is just thick with grime. Through the busted window, you can see two patrons drinking from massive clay flagons, and they're just guzzling and talking to each other. And just for a moment, they stop talking and look at the four of you standing outside, kind of look at each other and just go back to drinking. The door appears to be hanging so much on its hinges as the hinges are actually been like bound up with rope, because whatever metal hinges were on there had been like busted through probably several times. So they just wanted to do it the quick and easy way. The door just kind of hangs limply and kind of like just... And that is what you see. It's a real homey kind of place.
Well, this looks like a very fine establishment that you have brought us to.
So Bevyn's just gonna move to a table, trying to find a spot in the corner, and just look around and see. One, does he notice anybody that matches descriptions? Does he see any of the tattoos? And just looking for anybody that looks underworldly, more so than.
Okay, so you decide to enter. You're going to enter the establishment. You're going to go in first.
Yeah.
All right. As you go in, you kind of open up, like you kind of push open the door. Surprisingly, the rope still stays, and there's an individual behind the bar, kind of looks at you, grabs a flagon, and whips it at your head, and that's where we're going to end the session.
I should have known it was coming.
Duck!
Mike loves those cliffhanger endings.
I do.
Gee, not like we don't know anyone else who does.
Where do you think I learned them from?
Yeah, he learned it from me. I'm cruel. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today to watch the first session of Waterdeep Dragon Heist. I am so fortunate to be able to play with these four amazing people. I'm really excited. This is actually the very first module I've ever run. I've never run a D&D module in my life before, and I'm watching, or I read this, and I was just astounded at how well put together this module is. And this is totally not teasing everyone who's not read it yet in this player party. So, but I am grateful. I'm going to turn it back over to Jake because, Jake, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come watch us sling some dice. You guys are amazing. Audience, you guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. It's actually just it's relieving to. Actually, I think this might be the first time that I'm producing a stream on my channel that I'm playing in and not DMing. I kept wanting to track initiative and I kept having to bite my tongue from asking people, "What do you do?" Because I'm so used to wearing that DM hat. But no, this is awesome to be able to sit back and play as one of these 4 adventuring party. I've had the privilege of playing with all of you before, and all of us have played for the most part, have played together. In fact, I think V and Mike and V and Dwight is their first time playing together. But you can find Megan and V on Thursday nights over on here. Thursday nights here at 8:30. And actually, V will be here on Wednesday, along with several others for actually Karen is going to be playing in that game, and a few others. We're running a game called One Flew Over the Cockatrice's Nest. It's one of my Affairs of Dragons game. I do want to say real quick, just thank you to everybody in both chats on Twitch and YouTube. Lots of people in there just talking, watching the show, quoting things. A huge shout out to Legends of Avantris, who raided us just a little bit ago. Brought in a party of, I believe, 8 or 9 people to raid us and gave us some hooters. There's some owl emojis in there relevant to their channel. So thanks for the raid. I got to get my stuff together so that in coming weeks we can return the favor by raiding other parties. They've actually simplified raiding a little bit. So every Monday night at 8:30 right here on Mini Terrain Domain. And if you missed it or you tuned in late, you can catch the VOD on YouTube. Usually within a couple hours it's processed. But I usually post about it the following day. And then regular campaigns on Thursday night with the Sunless Citadel. And again on Sunday nights we'll be returning with kind of shuffling some things around, a couple little changes that we're going to introduce to you in the Cult of Personality Tomb of Annihilation 5e game that I DM with Mike and Megan, both as players in that game. So huge shout out to everybody for watching. V, Mike, Megan, Dwight, thank you so much. And it's not my game, but it's my channel, so we're going to end the stream how I end all of my streams, with a big old omitted.